Hello and welcome to the TaxTron Web tutorial video series. Today we are going to go over how to declare the sale of a principal residence. We will assume that you have created a new return and filled out all the necessary information. Under address we want to scroll down to where it says, in 2022, did you sell your principal residence, and select yes. After doing this, we will then see that under income a section appears that says sale of residence. We will click on this, and then under T2091 we will then click on Sale of Residence. You will then be directed to the Sale of Principal Residence page. Here we want to put down if we own the property with another person such as a spouse. As an example, let's say John has 50% ownership with his mother, so we will click on Yes and enter 50% on the percentage held by the taxpayer and 50% under Other. If the taxpayer is the sole owner of the property, you do not need to select Yes. You will then need to enter the address of the principal residence. For this tutorial, I will be entering a dummy address. We now need to declare if the property was used as a principal residence for all the years owned, some of the years owned, but not all, or some but not all the years if we owned multiple rental properties. You will use the multiple property option when a client has sold multiple properties which may have been used as a principal residence for a period of time. You need to fill out a T2091 form for each of these properties. For example, let's say the property was used as a principal residence for the whole period. We will be required to enter the year of acquisition, year of sale, and the proceeds of disposition. For this section, we will be using year 2000 to the year 2022, and $1,500,000 respectively. You will see that the tax owing by the client does not change. In the case a taxpayer used the property as a principal residence for only a period, they will then have to pay taxes as they are not eligible to claim the full principal residence exemption. When I click on some of the years owned, but not all, or some but not all the years, multiple properties, we will then be asked the number of years for which the property was designated as a principal residence. Out of the 23 years we owned the property, we will say we used it as a principal residence for 10 years. You will now see that the taxpayer is now owing taxes as a result of not having the property as a primary residence for all years the taxpayer owned the property. You will see that the total income for the taxpayer has also increased to reflect the principal residence not fully being claimed. This is due to the taxpayer having to pay capital gains on their proceeds, which is shown here in the detailed tax summary. We will also be asked about outlays and expenses related to the disposition, which is the amount we paid to sell the property. For example, lawyer and real estate agent commission, we will enter $11,000. For the adjusted cost base at the time of disposition, we will enter the amount we bought the property for plus any fees we incurred to acquire it. Here we will enter $50,000. The adjustments to cost base made after 1981 field is where we will report any expenses we may have occurred while owning the property. This could be any additions to the structure, replacement of the roof, etc. Both adjusted cost base at the time of disposition and outlays and related to the disposition will lower the amount of tax the taxpayer will owe, while adjustments to the cost base at the time of disposition will not. We can then click on Next and we will be given a summary of T2091 forms we have filled out. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media for even more exciting content. Don't forget to press the bell icon to be alerted every time we upload a new video.